On this episode of MATC Now, we'll explore two great programs at MATC and get a chance to learn about the United Performing Arts Fund here in Milwaukee. Also, make sure to stick around for another delicious recipe from Chef BellaDee. All this and more coming up on MATC Now. Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of MATC Now. I'm your host, Courtney Bondar, and today I'm joined by two very special guests, Instructor Richard Cole Jr. and Assistant Chief Paul Framello. How are you guys doing today?
Doing very well, thank you.
Good.
Doing very well, thank you.
Great. So tell me a little bit about yourselves. Richard, I'll let you go first.
Sure. I'm an instructor with the Criminal Justice Program. I'm the department chair with the Criminal Justice Studies Program, and I teach in our program.
That's awesome. What about you, Assistant Chief Paul?
I'm one of 3 assistant chiefs for the Milwaukee Police Department, and I am responsible for overseeing our Criminal Investigations Bureau.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys. I'll get back to you in a little bit. We'll talk about the criminal justice program here at MATC. But first, I want to check in with our field correspondent, Mackenzie Krueger, and see what she has for us today at MATC.
Thanks, Courtney. I bet you can't guess where I'm at right now. We'll find out soon. See you in a couple minutes.
I wonder where you are, but hey, it looks interesting. I can't wait. But first, let's take a look at what student producer Katie Embertson learned while visiting UPath. And let's also take a look at the Architectural Technology program with student producer KJ Rajetsky.
There is a rich history of the arts in Milwaukee. Unfortunately, there is a threat of those arts going away because of funds. Fortunately, there is organizations here to help. Isabel talks about one of those organizations that helps fund the arts.
UPath stands for the United Performing Arts Fund. We are an umbrella fundraising organization funded almost 60 years ago to support the performing arts in southeastern Wisconsin. At our core mission, United Performing Arts Fund exists to support the performing arts, and the primary source of funds we offer is unrestricted operating support. That is really critical to the operation of any organization because it allows them to pay their staff, keep their lights on, and fund their core work, and that lets them concentrate on what they do best, which is putting incredible work on the stage, engaging the community, running amazing education programs, and all the above.
Performances like the ballet and plays are fun to watch, but the arts are also critical to our well-being as people.
What we know from our research into arts education specifically is that the arts build skills that are critical to success in any area. The arts are important for so many reasons, and it's individual to each of us, but in the big picture, they connect us to one another and to ourselves and help us better understand both ourselves and our community and our place in the world and kind of make sense of things.
UPath supports the performing arts on a grand scale, but getting involved is one way you can support the arts.
And the wonderful thing about the arts is that there's something for everyone, and there's lots of ways to get involved. Right now, we're at a really exciting time. It's been a difficult 2 years for everyone with the COVID-19 pandemic and the restrictions that it's put on what we're able to do and how we have been able to gather. And the great thing about this season is that the arts are back, and there are so many incredible holiday performances specifically that individuals can go see. So I'd really encourage you, if you do anything, get your family or your friends together and buy a ticket and go out and see some of the performances that are on stage right now, because you won't regret it. If you want to get involved in more of a volunteer capacity, there's lots of opportunities to do that as well. Opportunities with UPath, include some volunteer leadership opportunities on our chorus line, as well as our signature event each June, which is the UPAF Ride for the Arts. So, attending a performance is the first and foremost. Buy a ticket and just come out, because that's the most fun that you can possibly have. And you are supporting the arts and doing that as well. If you're interested in checking out UPAF or the performing arts, our website is a great place to start. And that's www.upaf.org. And there you can find all the information on our work, our community outreach activities, donation opportunities, including that UPAF Smart Card, which is such a good way to get yourself out to the theaters at an incredible discount. And the last thing, if you look at anything, is to please look at our performance calendar online. So all the performances for the season are there available for you in one place. You can filter by month, by topic, and you'll definitely find something that strikes your fancy. So check that out.
UPAF works hard to ensure a good community for the performing arts. They play a big role in getting these performances on stage. Supporting the arts does not just support artists, but us as people.
Milwaukee is teeming with a mix of striking styles of architecture, with famous architects such as E. Townsend Mix and Frank Lloyd Wright to back up its rich history. They also represent the array of characters and personalities that are not only in Milwaukee, but roaming the halls of MATC. Something Mike Hacker, a professor of architectural technology for 3 years here at MATC, is all too familiar with when it comes to the different backgrounds that shape not only the environment around us physically, but the people around us as well.
I found a really nice balance in terms of my preparedness in the classroom to teach, as coming from both my education, my upbringing. So I grew up in a family that did construction. So we grew up kind of doing a lot of things we talk about, within the classroom. And so as a licensed architect, I think a combination of those three things, I think, are what I feel have best prepared me for kind of what we do in the classroom and hopefully what the students find value in.
Mike Hacker described those lessons he learned as also shaping the way he approaches those differing personalities, both in the business of architectural engineering and in the classroom.
I think ultimately what architects do is they are problem solvers, right? We solve problems, and the solution ends up looking like a building, right? That's what architecture works towards. But a lot of times what we're really dialoguing about is helping a client understand what their needs are, and then finding a way to put together buildings to solve those needs. So a lot of times we're actually not talking about architecture, we're talking about how a client goes through their day, or how a client interacts with their patients, or how a teacher teaches in a classroom, or whatever it may be. And
all of which are a part of a litany of ideas and life lessons that he hopes students take to heart from his lectures.
To me, a lot of the success architecturally, in terms of creating the right solution and building a beautiful building, is the time spent just listening to the client, helping them understand what in fact their needs are, help them be able to verbalize it or communicate it. And I think that approach has translated, I felt, to the classroom, because a lot of what we do in the class in terms of ensuring we're making a connection, ensuring that the students are understanding and comprehending and growing, is about listening, hearing, are they asking questions in alignment with the direction we're heading? Are they progressing with the path we're moving down through the semester? It, to me, is very similar to the type of observation I would do with a client. Are they keeping up?
With passionate professors like Mike Hacker at the helm of a class making future leaders, it's no wonder why students feel they have the necessary skills to succeed.
Wow, it's so great to hear about the many opportunities UPAF has in the amazing STEM program at MATC. Let's check back with Mackenzie to see what chocolatey adventure she has for us.
Thank you, Courtney. I'm here at 6th Street Bakery at MATC's campus, and today I'm talking with Joy Neer, and she's going to tell us all about the amazing things they've been doing in the kitchen. So you guys are making pastries and baking, right?
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about that experience so far?
Yeah, so here at the school, we make most of the desserts that go into the cafe as well as what's sold in cuisine. And they vary from donuts to cakes to gourmet desserts like Tahitian mousse bombs. Sorry.
No, you're good. That's amazing. So can you tell me a little bit about what got you into this program?
Yeah, so I've always baked with my mom as a kid, and it's always been something that sparked joy for me. And when I graduated from Alberta with my teaching degree, I still baked for my students. It was just something that I did to show them that I cared about them, I loved them. And when the pandemic hit, I decided to go and try and do it professionally, and I enrolled into MATC to see what a career would be like full time. And I've learned so much since I've been here. It's very different from home baking.
I love that you're turning that passion into a career. Can you tell us a little bit about opportunities that students can have after this program when they graduate?
Absolutely. I think an obvious one would be entrepreneurship. You can open your own business and start your own bakery, or you could go work for someone else. You could be a lead chef in a 5-star restaurant, or I've heard of some people going into food photography or even recipe development. Those are all options that you can have by joining this program. You really can make the degree whatever you want.
Those sound like amazing opportunities. So I want to hear about this equipment. What do you guys do with all the equipment in here?
Oh my gosh, this is a mixer, and it's probably the most used tool in the kitchen. Use it for mixing batters, cookie doughs, bread doughs. You have different attachments like a paddle, a dough hook, or a whip, and it's honestly multi-purpose, and I've saves your wrist for sure. Everything used to be done by hand, but the mixer has made it very helpful to, manage.
Okay, so what do we have over here?
Yeah, so this is a dough sheeter. We use it for pie doughs, cookies. You can use it for breads. We actually used it before Thanksgiving to make Parker rolls, and it just gives you a more consistent and even roll instead of using a rolling pin, because human error, you'll have something that's thin on one side, thicker on the other, and this just makes the perfect product.
So if you're a student and you want to buy one of these treats, where can you find them?
You can find everything at the 6th Street Cafe. All of our items end up there, and if it's not there, you could grab them in cuisine.
Okay, so speaking of pastries, I saw that you were working on these. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're making?
Yeah, so here we have macaroons, super yummy. They're French inspired or French origin, and basically you start with the French meringue with egg whites, and you whip them up and you add sugar, and you fold them into a batter of almond powder until they're nice and smooth and silky.
Those look delicious.
They're so yummy. You don't want to fold too much or too little. The first round was not easy. It was like pancake batter.
That's impressive too. Macarons are hard to make.
Very difficult, but the final result super rewarding. And they're like a cookie sandwich. And these are filled with the dark chocolate ganache, a caramel, and topped with a pecan. So you can really make them however you like.
Well, thank you so much, joining here. It was awesome talking with you. And I'm gonna take a bite of these and try it. But if you're a student, be sure to stop by 6 Cafe and have a delicious snack. Thank you.
Wow, those treats look so good. I would love to stop by the bakery sometime and get some. Now let's take a look at student producers Andrew Simon and Joshua Brown's visit to the criminal justice program.
Cases and filling in the gaps. That is what is expected of the students to learn within the Criminal Justice Studies program. But what is also expected of them is to thoroughly learn the law that they uphold to serve whatever career path they may cross in their lives as professionals.
So we have a 60-credit associate degree program, and then we also have a 720-hour certified police academy in the state of Wisconsin. And both of those programs would prepare a student to be not only a municipal police officer, but some of our students have gone on to work in probation and parole, in child protective services, DNR wardens. Some of them have become state troopers. One of my students just became a state trooper in the state of Minnesota. So it can prepare them for a range of different careers.
Of course, physical training proves to play a very crucial role in what is expected in an individual that is striving to make their mark in law enforcement.
There's also a lot of physical fitness testing, especially for the recruits in the police academy. They have about 50 hours of mandated fitness training that they have to do, as well as a standardized fitness test called the physical readiness test that they have to do to get into the academy. And then at the end of the academy, the standards are higher, and they have to meet those standards to actually graduate from the academy.
Students in this program will truly experience the challenges they will face in their careers when they go into their separate paths in the criminal justice profession. But that doesn't stop them from expressing their own thoughts.
Something that really surprised me was just how much information you're expected to know as a law enforcement officer. I mean, you're expected to know definitions, and you're expected to know professional communication, how to talk with people. And I think everybody knows that a police officer has to be able to talk with other people, out on the street, but just how the little intricacies that go into everyday police work that, kind of surprised me. But just a lot of stuff that you have to know.
I would like to get into human trafficking cases. That's always interested me. So I want to help people get past that and move on and make a better life for themselves after.
But for being a police officer, what inspired me was actually as a child. I wasn't the best kid. I had a police officer in my life who was a good role model for me and a good father figure. That kind of jump-started my passion for police work.
Criminal justice has such a broad spectrum, with many opportunities and jobs that can always be filled. The criminal justice profession is for people who are brave but also thoughtful and caring individuals who want to serve and protect their communities.
This is great insight to the criminal justice program here at MATC. And after learning about the program, I do have a few questions for my guests. So Richard, tell me, I know you were an alum as well, so give me a little bit of background of what the program is like here.
Sure. Just for context, our criminal justice studies program is a 60 college credit associate degree that fulfills the requirements that a police officer would need to have at least 60 college credits after they've been hired for 5 years. We follow a state-aligned curriculum, everything from constitutional law to criminal law to juvenile professional communications. There's core courses that also involve our regular associate degree program from the standpoint of English, math, etc.
Absolutely. And Assistant Chief Paul, sorry. You are also an alum. Could you tell me about your experience then and what it's like in your position now?
It was a great experience. Much like Richard just explained, it was an obligation to have a certain number of credits in a 5-year period, and MATC provided that opportunity for me after I was hired by the Milwaukee Police Department, and I'm forever grateful for that opportunity.
Absolutely. And how has the training helped you in your position currently?
Well, getting diversified training, not only from the police academy, but from a college institution such as MATC, just better prepares you to deal with the community or to serve the community.
Mm-hmm. So Richard, how do you prepare your students throughout the course of the class and then approaching the police academy?
Well, the best part about our technical college system is that every instructor in the classroom has to have years of practical experience. So I graduated from our MATC Police Recruit Academy back in '94, class of 47. We've been doing it for at least 50 years because we're up to class 104. So all our instructors have to have the practical experience in the field, and that's our technical college system. Plus, we have a variety of experience. After working for the Kenosha Sheriff's Department, I went and got my law degree at Marquette, and I practiced both as a prosecutor and a defense attorney for a period of time. When I was able to come back to MATC and start teaching, it was really nice to be able to put that practical experience to work. There's another attorney that also teaches a lot of law classes, because the technical college system, it's not just about the what you know, it's how to apply what you learned so that you can succeed.
Absolutely. And talking about succeeding, what type of student would be fit for that type of role?
If you're talking about, it's people that want to serve their community. The Milwaukee Police Department is a perfect example of an agency here. The city of Milwaukee, anyone who has grown up here that wants to protect, serve their community, it's a great opportunity. Also in Milwaukee County, we've got the Sheriff's Department, the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department, and then all of our suburbs, everything from Shorewood to Franklin to Greendale and Greenfield, and all of anyone that wants to just be part of investigating crime, be part of locating criminals, be part of crime prevention. It's a really awesome career.
And I like that. I like how you're setting your students up for that success and looking forward to that. So, Assistant Chief Paul, could you tell me, from being in your role, what sort of advice would you give to somebody who's walking right into the field right now?
Take advantage of the opportunities that are before you. And MATC here can be that starting point that's just going to open up doors not only to law enforcement, but Department of Corrections, Social Services. Your opportunities are limitless, and it can all start here.
I agree, and that's definitely correct. MATC is a great resource, and I bet you both can agree with that too, not only being an instructor, an alum as well, and those students really being integrated from the school atmosphere to the workforce as well. And I want to thank you both for joining me today and giving me a great insight to the program here and your position as well with MPD. So thank you guys so very much. And I honestly can say it's a great way to get a perspective inside of those roles especially. So it seems like Chef BellaDee has another quick and easy recipe to share with us today. What's cooking over there, Chef?
Thank you, Courtney, and good morning, everyone. Thanksgiving leftovers are gone, we're still procrastinating on Christmas, and you deserve a breakfast to power you through the rest of the holiday season. With warm spices and protein-packed eggs, French toast is breakfast this week. For this delicious breakfast, you will need half and half, eggs, a little bit of microwaved honey, some salt, and some butter, and your bread. Bread's pretty important in toast, I don't know if you ask me. So French toast is a really great recipe for around this time of year because it involves a lot of compromise, which I think the holidays, you kind of have to find that middle ground of the effort. There's so much going on, but you also, you want to have a nice time. So the way we're doing that is by combining a lot of different things. We have dry stale bread and wet liquid ingredients. This wet liquid ingredient right in front of me is our cup of half and half, 3 large eggs, and salt and a little bit of honey. And you can be kind of loose with this. It doesn't need to be specific, those ingredients. This specific amount of ingredients will make you about 8 slices of French toast. But if you are cooking for one, you can go ahead and just crack like 1 egg and about the same amount of milk, or half and half, whatever liquid you got, and put it into a shallow pan like this, whisk it all up. And we're using a shallow pan because you're gonna be using some tongs after this bread has soaked for about 30 seconds because you want it to completely soak up all of that delicious egg mixture. We're gonna use tongs and flip it to the other side. And if we were using a taller dish, that'd be kind of awkward to grab around with. So it's nice to have a pie tray like this one. So your liquid ingredients, your half and half, and yada, yada, yada. That combines with stale bread and creates that custardy, lovely, luxurious feeling of French toast. Compromise. So after this has been sitting here for about 30 seconds on both sides, we're gonna go ahead and use our nice little tongs, and we're gonna prevent drips, and we're gonna put it onto our tray right here. And you wanna let that sit in there for about a minute or two. You can go ahead and start cooking off the rest of your bread and everything. And by cooking, I mean soaking. Language is hard. Everything's hard. And you want this to soak because to marry that liquid and stale bread, it needs time. It needs time to fully absorb and saturate in there. But once it has done that, you can go ahead and keep using your little tongs because you don't want to get your hands all dirty. We're going to take this and we're going to put it into our saute pan. We have this nice and hot with about a tablespoon of butter in here, and you can see it is bubbling, but it's not browned yet. And we're going to go ahead and lay this down nice and gentle. And we're letting this cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. It takes a good bit of time. and patience, but not a crazy amount of time. Also, I meant to tell you so long ago, you're gonna have a preheated oven ready and waiting for you, because once this is actually cooked on both sides, and you can see it is starting to cook. We've got our egg mixture kind of frying up on the other side there, but it takes a little bit longer than we got time for right now. I'll flip over so you can see. Yeah, that's starting to form. You got a little texture going on there, but for the most part, that is not cooked bread. Takes 2 to 3 minutes, but after 2 to 3 minutes, you would go ahead and flip. But we have done some work for you, and we have bread that is cooked on both sides already. And so let's pretend that this is cooked, and we're gonna pop it on here. And just to make sure that all of the germs in your eggs are killed off, we're popping it into an oven that has been preheated to 375 degrees. This will make sure that you get those little crispy edges and everything, but also you're not getting salmonella because, you know, like I said, we're compromising. We're finding that balance of putting into care for others, but also caring for yourself. And you can care for yourself with some delicious little French toast. Because yeah, it takes a bit of work, but not too much. And you deserve a good breakfast. There you have it. Well balanced in so many ways. From the kitchen, back to you, Courtney.
Such a sweet and simple recipe. Now, let's join Courtney for the MATC Minute and see what events are ahead.
Looking for some fun? Join Student Life for the Winter Gala Tuesday, December 6th from 4 to 7 p.m. in the MEC1 campus cafeteria. This free event includes dinner, horse-drawn carriage rides, ornament making, cookie decorating, and so much more. Want to celebrate the end of the semester? Stop by the Career Hub for some sweet treats Tuesday, December 6th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the downtown Milwaukee campus, S Building, first floor, and bring your friends. Gingerbread houses, made by the Baking and Pastry Arts program, will be on display on the second floor of the Milwaukee Public Market, Thursday, December 1st through Monday, December 12th. Come support the program and vote for your favorite in the People's Choice Award and bid to purchase. MATC's Asian Affinity Group is hosting an event to celebrate being Hmong. Come meet guest speakers on December 6th from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. and join them for a short film screening and a morning of Hmong history and culture. And also, come support the MATC's women's basketball team as they host Kennedy King College at Alverno College on December 6th at 6 p.m. Go Stormers!
Thanks, Courtney. Let's see what student producer Isaiah Vargas has for this episode's Hidden Gem KE.
Hi, I'm student producer Isaiah Vargas, visiting historic downtown Greendale for another Hidden geMKE. Covering over 3,000 acres of land 3 miles from downtown Milwaukee, the historic village of Greendale stands. But what exactly makes this small town so historic?
Starting in 1936, under the resettlement administration of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the federal government approved the creation of 3 Greenbelt towns across the U.S., one of these towns being Greendale, Wisconsin. This was in part due to the desperate times of the Great Depression, and so the town was built both with the idea of providing good and reasonable housing costs to families and give jobs to thousands of unemployed workers.
Since the 30s, the town has remained the way it was originally conceived, not only providing social and economic benefit, but also community benefit.
The town is built with the business district, providing close distance between offices, businesses, restaurants, and schools, with housing surrounding the area, leaving the business district easily accessible to residents.
Since 2012, the village of Greendale has been named a U.S. National Landmark and has been a great place to visit for any time of the year. So come on down and enjoy the history and the small town charm. I'm student producer Isaiah Vargas, and this has been another Hidden geMKE.
You're right. Greendale is such an interesting and artsy place, and that's where I'm from, so I'll have to stop down there and enjoy some time. For now, that's all the time we have left for today's episode. Thank you, Assistant Chief Paul, and thank you, Richard, for joining me today.
Thank you, Courtney.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of MATC Now. I'm your host, Courtney Bondar, and I'll see you next week.